Hey everybody, Anthony 4x4 Diesel, good morning. Doing a bit of a job on our 1KD 2013. There's a big coolant leak down there somewhere. Haven't seen it before, so I'm going to start pulling things out of the way and we'll have a closer look and work out what it is. While we're at it, we're going to do the BFE properly. The BFE wasn't done. The timing belt was done at about 303 by the looks of it last year. So we're going to try and check the other components and work out whether they were replaced or not. And probably replace the water pump while we've dropped the coolant, because we're probably going to lose the coolant, because I'm going to take a guess that it's down at the thermostat housing. Probably needs a new O-ring, but I'm not sure yet. And of course, replacing the drive belt and the bearings. We'll check all that out and fix all that up and do a BFE or a part BFE and do some work on the vehicle anyway. So let's get it apart and have a look and see what we find. Tip, just to remove the airbox, take the lid off. Undo the clamp on the hose. There's a 10mm on a bracket, take that off. Airbox, take it out, 3 bolts, as you can see. 1 outside, 2 inside the box. You've got to get the air filter out. Hose off the turbo. Now we can see a little bit more. And this is why you subscribe and turn the bell on, because if you noticed, is this a jinx or what? In recent videos I said we're going to start carrying these turbo hoses spare. You know, I reckon these is something that would be the first hoses to let go, because there's certainly nothing wrong with any of these radiator hoses and stuff like that. They're really good, the heater hoses. But these small hoses, they're very small, which means they're thinner, and they're right next to the exhaust manifold and the turbo, trapped in all around the heat. One of them's got this braided section over it, so that's great, but the rest of it hasn't. And in my opinion, Toyota could have gone above and beyond and put that braided section on all these little turbo hoses. Now, when you look at it, let me turn this light off and try and get some light on the subject in there so you can see what's going on. Come on, hit the like for the camera work. I'm bloody trying here for you. I could just fix this and not tell you all about it, you know. But my initial thought when I saw roughly where it was coming from, see all that pink stuff down there, I went, oh, thermostat housing, I might need an O-ring, right, which I've got. And then I go, oh, that plug down there, maybe that's leaking. And maybe it is. But looking at the spread, so if that plug was leaking down there, it'd drip straight down. Why would it be up over the top of the thermostat housing? So looking at it, and the way we're discussing it now, some people call it waffle, but you've got to understand my way of thinking so that you can learn, and then you can do this yourself without my help, right? Use the Facebook groups when you've got questions. But see how the stains over the top of the thermostat housing? Which leads me to believe maybe it's spraying out from a hose. And see up on that water bypass pipe, the one up the top of the end of the light where I'm pointing now, you know, there's like a white stain on it. I'll get that light away. Actually, it works better without that. Right, now, I could use a pointer, but you know what, right in the middle of the picture, see that white stain? So I'm picking on maybe this hose here at the end of my fingers, right? Right, I think that could be the culprit. So now it's time to go and check the spares and see which ones I've got there, and keep pulling more things off. So what we need to do, don't disconnect your aircon pipes, whatever you do, that'll be a mistake. But I'm going to unclip this wiring loom and undo this clamp here, the clamp off the turbo, get this pipe out of the way. I'm going to get this the crankcase ventilation pipe out of the way. Yeah, I'll put a cover on that. I just took it off. It's just going to make it untidy and put things in the way of the video. That's why I left it for now, just to show you. I might pull the dipstick out, so that would mean that 10mm there, and this dipstick, another 10mm up here, and then that dipstick will pull out. It's got an O-ring at the bottom. You can reuse it, just clean it up, put some Monocoat on it. But I'm not sure what's leaking. It could be I might be just doing both here. I might be just pulling that thermostat housing off, changing the O-ring on the thermostat, and also taking a good look at these hoses. Right. Now would be a good time to put a radiator pressure tester on, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I don't have one. I work on Toyotas. They don't have leaks, and if they do, we can easily see the water pump or what's going on. Things don't bloody leak, right? So I haven't had one for years. So, you know, whatever. But I can't, well, I could start it up and warm it up and see where it starts spraying. I could do that now. True, I could do that. It's a thought, but then I'll be working on a hot engine. So I'm happy to just keep pulling things apart. I just thought we'd have a discussion before I go any further. You can see what I'm up to. I'll let you know what the findings are. Okay, so I've been at it a bit. Getting a few more things out of the way, just trying to make some space to see what's going on. And I'm pretty confident that it's not these hoses, as I started to suspect. I can actually get in there now and have a look and a feel. I think that's a good hose, same as this one. I'll try and get the light on. Yeah, always better with the light. The other thing I suspected is the top of this bypass pipe here where it hits the block. Of course, we've got that gasket in stock as well. But it doesn't, even though it looks like it's been wet up there, there's not much corrosion on it. And it could have been spraying, it could be a stain from whatever else. High pressure spraying at this thermostat housing. And then you look at the other little plug part down the bottom, down, see that one down there? And you get suspect on that, but then the coolant couldn't come up to this housing, and see how it's really clean? It's even wet there. So in behind that, so look, firstly, subscribe, turn the bell on. This is why some people, they order the BFE kit from me. So we've got this big front engine kit talking about idler, tensioner, water pump, you know, the water pump, the belts, the bearings, everything that turns, what you need to do maintenance on the vehicles properly based on my recommendation. And some people say, oh, can I get a thermostat? What do you want to, what, you used to have a Holden or a Ford? Look, we used to always change thermostats every 6 months, right? They were pretty crap. These thermostats are really good. Check on your scan gauge or whatever you've got there to monitor your coolant temp, since the temperature gauge doesn't move until it warms up. It just warms up and it sits there, and yeah, it doesn't go, you know. You don't actually know what your coolant temp's on unless you've got a digital readout, okay? So if you know that it's not idling at 83 and it's doing something, which is very rare, then yes, change your thermostat, but it's going to take you hours and hours, okay? Because this is just some of the work that's involved, the stuff that I've pulled out of the way to get to that housing down there. It is a bit of a dumb design. Lucky the thermostats are good. Dipsticks out, you know, all the turbo pipe works out of the way. At the moment, those hoses, they don't have to move out of the way, but the next step is to get to the bolts. We have to pull the front off the turbo, and then further, some of these wiring clamps. Further down, there's another bolt holding that. So there's 2 bolts in the housing. You can probably see 1, 2. You can see those things. So we want to get the housing off the hose, give it a good clean up. So bottom hose, we'll have to get access down the bottom. So maybe bash plates will have to come off. It's a bit of a, how do I say, prick of a job, right? Because that's just what it is. So don't change your thermostat unless you know you got a problem. And yeah, do it at the same time as the BFE or whatever, because you're going to lose your coolant, depending on your kilometers and when you did it. This is rare that these leak. I'll show you what it is that's leaking. Behind there, it's a rubber O-ring seal type gasket that hooks over the thermostat. That's just going to have gone hard, whatever. Like I said, I haven't seen these leaking before on these cars. It used to be a problem on the EA Falcons, you know, with the thermostat housing much more readily to access up on the front top of the head. Kind of like up here somewhere on the Falcons, the 6-cylinder, you know, similar to this one here, which leads people to think, oh, thermostat, I'll just put a thermostat in here because I'm taking... No, thermostat isn't there, people. It's down there. It's big trouble, right? Big trouble. So watch the videos. I need to get on with this. My hands have got bloody splits and cracks in them. It's painful. I don't know if I'm going to get this job done or not, or if I'm going to pull the pin, put it back together and be a pussy and, you know, do it again another day. It was more of a start pulling it apart to have a look and see what's going on, but with a thought of possibly a BFE, but let's just see what happens. I'll keep pulling it apart for now and see how the hands feel, because it's just like someone stabbing a knife into the corner of my thumb here and finger there. I'm having a sook now, but it's just bloody painful. Dried up, cracked hands, you know. Too much work, apparently. This video, I think I'm going to call it the BFE job from hell. Okay, so, you know, all because of a little coolant leak, right? Yeah, see what's going on there. It's probably good for a thumbnail, actually, isn't it? Something like about that. So we'll use that for the thumbnail, if that works out, because it's what it is, right? You can see I'm still doing the electrical install, and I thought before I put the battery and all this stuff, we need to attend to this, because I knew there was a minor leak and it seemed to be getting worse. Like I said, the BFE wasn't done properly. I was going to do it later, but, you know, since this is involved, and basically what I've learned, I don't think I've done a thermostat on a 150 Prado, because like I said, they don't need thermostats and I don't see this leak. The only times we have is when we've done an engine. And I think that's about it. That's when thermostats are out. We don't automatically replace it. It's good if you know if your coolant was on temp or not. Right, so idle at about 83. If you say it was idling at 70, then we've got a problem. Okay, there has been a couple like that out of hundreds of thousands. So what I've done so far, don't forget disconnect your battery before you take any of this wiring off to your alternator. So the compressor came off for a bit more access. The alternator came off because we need to get to that, see that bottom bolt there? See that housing? From memory, I've done them on 120s. I've done them on 1KZs, I've done them on 1KDs, and I don't remember it being this difficult. So it's definitely harder on a 150. It's a big job. This pipe could be different. Again, I don't remember. I think this pipe must be different. I think on the 120 it must be shorter or something. Because I remember just getting in here, you know, maybe dipstick out and a couple of things and being able to deal with it. I'm going to try and deal with that taking the front off the turbo because the nuts are a bit hard to get to, and of course then you'd need a gasket, which would open up a turbo gasket kit worth nearly $100, and I'm trying not to do that. And you can clearly see that it's not leaking from that bypass pipe. It's clearly all around this thermostat housing and the bolt holes and whatever, because it's getting past the seal then coming out the bolt holes is what I think. So I'm going to go for the thermostat seal. So it's 2 bolts, quite clearly the one right in the middle of the picture and the one at the other side, the pink one. It's going to be a bit difficult to get to, but probably no more difficult than getting that housing off to make that easier to get to. And by the looks of it, from memory, there was one more bolt, which I think is that one there with the transmission line bracket. So we'll pull that bolt out. I've just got this hose off. I've got one more hose to go. That one was a bit tight, so I thought I'd take a break and grab the camera, let you know what we're up to. We'll get all this sorted first, start putting this side back together, and then we'll continue and do the BFE since it's apart and the coolant's out, the water pump and all this sort of thing. Yeah, so that's where it's at, the BFE job from hell. There we go. So as planned, I was able to get to this bolt. So there's a little tent. You actually have to take that whole transmission line clamp off, so undo the 10 mil. Undo the 12 mil, take the whole clamp out of the way to expose the 10 mil that's behind mounting this. So it's not the best design. They need to probably have a shorter version or something, I don't know, but I'm sure there's reasons why they did it this way. This was the bolt that's hard to get to with the turbo, but from the top with the ring span, I was able to get a few turns and then it came out by hand. Let's just have a look what's going on there. You can see the rust around the outside of the seal on the thermostat gasket. How ridiculous is it? Now, in many videos you would have heard me talking about engine oil being the lifeblood of the engine and coolant. You know, on my vehicles I like to drop it. I look for an excuse to drop the coolant every year or two. Every 2 years is the book. So when the engine's brand new, I say, okay, you know, you can do them. Well, they say 7 years, that's pushing, I reckon. 4 or 5 years, when it's new, all the materials are new, coolant's new 100%. You never get it all out. I don't want to flush it. I don't want bad water in there. I don't know what they put in here to cause this, but that is rust, and this doesn't happen on Toyotas. As you can see, it's not rusty on the inside. So we're going to clean up that surface, replace that rubber seal, put the thermostat back in with the little jiggler hole at the top, the way it is. See that thing at the top there? Right, we're going to put the same one in there. We're not going to replace it. People are going, oh, well, you might as well not replace it because they don't have problems, okay? Risk it for the biscuit if you like, or you can go and, yeah, they're only 20 bucks. The seal's about 10 and the thermostat's about 20 or 30, something like that anyway. Anyway, that's where it's at. It's time to clean that up and start getting it back together because, like I said, the BFE job from hell. We've got a lot of stuff to put back together. Hopefully I remember where everything goes. As this came off, I heard something fall. I hope it was just a rock that was sitting up in behind this. Something went tink, tink, tink and fell down. Hope it's not a nut or a bolt that because I've got a number of nuts and bolts that I've kind of left loose, but didn't necessarily take the bolts all the way out. And I've got nuts and bolts all over the joint. It's chaos, right? Like I said, this is not a job that I normally do. So there's a few extra nuts and bolts. As soon as it goes different to the normal plan, it gets a bit, hang on, I've got to think about this. It's hard to do videos, but I'm going to clean it up. We've got the new seal there. We'll start getting it back together. I'll put some other info in here, but mainly it's been for you to learn. Coolant changes are very important. I recommend once you get past that 5-year mark, probably every couple of years if you can, just find an excuse to drop it out. Of course, you're going to do it with the BFE job if you get the BFE kit from us. Remember, text message only. Keep watching the videos. You'll pick up the information on how to get to know me, how we roll, and whether I can supply you an injector kit number 1, BFE kit number 2, those front wheel bearing assemblies for your Prados, etc. And you'll get to know which ones we work on, which ones we have the parts for. There's playlists there. Playlists are key. How to buy my kits, BFE job, injector job, all that sort of thing, and a lot more info in the VIP group. Join the VIP group after you purchase your kits. Okay, on Facebook, 4x4 Diesel VIPs, clients only after you get your kits. Anyway, I'll get on with this and let you know any other important info. Hopefully I can get it back together, eh? Wish me luck. Well, the good news is it looks like I've managed to get it back together to a point. Just about to put the airbox in, and I've done a separate video on that, so make sure you don't miss it. Subscribe, turn the bell on, demonstrating how it's really important to make sure your airbox with your pre-spinner, how it all works and what it does for you. Just keep your air filter clean and water out of your engine, that it isn't modified when installing a snorkel or not. I'm not saying you need a snorkel or not in this video. I'm not going to do that discussion or argument, but look, like I said, everything appears to be back together at that stage. Now we're going to continue with the BFE. We've got a whole playlist on that, right? BFE. And of course, there's a lot more videos available in the VIP group, but there's a lot in that BFE playlist. We've got the BFE kit there for you, in case you're wondering. $770 delivered to your door anywhere in Australia, includes everything you need and nothing you don't. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to swap out that water pump, because I don't know that it's ever been changed. It's got a bearing in there as well. May or may not have been, I don't know, because they do leak. There's a chance that it might have been done before. And I'm going to change the bearings in these pulleys. This one at the bottom is quite noisy. Have a listen. And that's why we have the BFE kit, right? And then I'll take the timing cover off and I'll make a decision. I know the belt's been done, but I just don't know if the idler and the tensioner was done. So I'll have a look around, make a decision what I'm going to do there. But this video, I think we'll call it the BFE from hell, because it was the BFE and the hell job with it, that's all. So don't order a thermostat from me or anywhere, and don't go and try and change your thermostat, because you're going to hate it. It's not a fun job. You can get it done, of course. If you love working on cars and you're handy and you just want to do it because you want the challenge, go ahead and do it. And if you tell me it was pretty straightforward on one of our Facebook groups or in the comments, I'll be very proud of you. It means you're very mechanical apt and you love it. So bada bing, catch you on the next video.